Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Social Sports Pad podcast. I am the man they call Cobra. Joining me is Ben. And if you're wondering where Ricky is, Ricky had to depart to do something else. We wish him the best in his future endeavors, and hopefully he will come back because we do miss him. But anyway, as they say, the show must go on. And so we are here, Ben, to talk about the championship games to lead to the Super Bowl. And we are going to talk first about the Ravens and Chiefs. But before we get into that, how you doing, Ben?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm off today, thankfully. I want to do 2 podcasts in one day. Not too bad.
Fair enough. And it's kind of interesting to do this, but in a way, because I mean I'm normally the hype man here, but now I stepped into the host the football portion of this.
And now I'm the co-host of the main co-host, I guess. We were all three, like you and me were like the co-hosts. While Ricky was the main. Now we're just like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, we got to step up. Because we can't step in it. And so let's unfortunately let's rip off the Band-Aid. As everyone probably should know, the Kansas City Chiefs came into Baltimore and basically pantsed the Baltimore Ravens 17-10. What in the hell happened there? Ben.
They did exactly what I thought they were going to do. Lamar Jackson of old showed up. They shat the bed. They didn't do what they should have done. It was just run the ball. Running the ball was working, and then they went away from it.
Yeah.
They were in distance of winning the game. They didn't capitalize on the mistakes. They didn't capitalize on anything. And when you don't capitalize on a good team like the Chiefs, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
And
you can't blink on Kelsey.
No, you can't blame it on Kelsey.
You can't blink. I said blink, not blame.
Blink. True. Yeah, you can't blink on Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey's like, even though he's old, he's still old, but he can still play.
There's a reason they call it psychological warfare. But I think the Bills would have also done the same thing to the Ravens. Probably done worse to the Ravens because the Ravens look completely outmatched. But again, it's the Chiefs. Roger Goodell's got to have his fuck buddy, as he's palling around with Tom Brady, with a bottle of Parmesan and his brandy snifter, all that shit.
He's raking in the millions right now with Taylor Swift. They made $330 million from her so far. So.
Oh yeah. They gotta have that. And so. Speaking of Taylor Swift, if any Swifties are out there, I remind you to go to your affiliate link in the Spotify description down below to fanatics.com. It's get ready for the Super Bowl. Get a jersey. Get a jersey. Hey, baseball season is coming up. The 4 greatest words in sport are about to happen. Pitchers and catchers report, and also NASCAR. NASCAR season is on the way too. Which, speaking of, Ben, I'm also here to remind you, the Lap Down.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the Lap Down podcast. Yeah. All right.
Tonight.
Yep. So don't forget about that later on today. And so after that cheap pop plug, we are now going to talk about the more interesting and exciting game as the San Francisco 49ers faced off against the Detroit Lions and came back from behind, in the old battle of the 57 championship game. Ben, what happened here? Detroit had it.
See, what happened here is Dan Campbell trying to be too aggressive and trying to be too greedy. He should have went for the field goal and just went tit for tat from the field goal that the 49ers got. That'll equal it out, and then the 49ers have to score twice again. But no, what's he do? He tries to go for it, and no, he doesn't make it. And then what happens again? He doesn't go for the field goal again, and he gets burned yet again. Like, it's the playoffs, man. You got to play smart, not dumb.
Exactly. And also, the other thing is, it's the smart thing to do. Take the points. You ended up losing by 3. Those 2 field goals, you would have won by 3. If you really think about it. Instead, you had an onside kick and you blew it.
Blew it.
Dan Campbell. I'm sure the city of Detroit appreciates what you did, but that was terrible.
That was bad, and I think that had a little bit to do with why Ben Johnson decided to stay with the Lions, is to try to win a Super Bowl and go out and try to get paid a little higher.
Absolutely. I think the Detroit Lions' future is bright. However, I don't think it's going to be as bright as they think, because they still have Jared Goff, and
I mean, they have some questionable areas in free agency that they have to decide who to keep and not to keep. So.
Yep. All right. And so now we are moving on from the championship. And guys, it is unfortunately the end. The final prize, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, the Super Bowl. And our matchup is the San Francisco 49ers and, fuck me, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not. Yep. But don't worry. I'm not going to worry about covering the spread. We're just doing a bold prediction. This one is not sponsored by Bulletproof Coffee. This one will be sponsored by our affiliates at Duke Cannon, ready to clean us up. They got some new fragrances out. Why not?
Why not?
The affiliate link is in our Spotify description. So, Ben, who's winning the Super Bowl, and who walks away with the MVP?
You know what? I'm giving this to the Chiefs. I mean, I'm sorry, 49ers fans. You guys struggled in the beginning against the Detroit Lions. Yes, you came back, but the only reason why you came back is because Dan Campbell didn't make his choices wisely. This is not going to happen against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid, they normally don't make mistakes. And if they do make a mistake, it's one rare mistake, and you got to capitalize. And
Agreed.
I honestly don't think the 49ers are ready. I don't think they're prepared yet for the big stage yet. I think Kansas City is going to win.
Who's the MVP?
Mahomes. It has to be Mahomes. I mean, who else would it be on the Chiefs, honestly? It's Tony. Unless Tony does something miraculous for a change and makes up for his whole entire season. I could see Tony maybe making it if he actually shows up and catches balls.
Unfortunately, the script writers are saying differently as far as the MVP. But
Kelsey.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Because the Chiefs are going to win mainly on Kelsey.
Yeah. Now that you mention this, how do you feel about this? Jason Kelsey's there in the stands up there with Taylor Swift. Okay. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Jason Kelsey, Taylor Swift come down. They're in the middle of the field with Travis Kelsey and Andy Reid. And Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, and Andy Reid, all three announced their retirement.
That would be something.
I wouldn't put it past
that would be something. I wouldn't put it past them. And it's how sometimes it's how you put a bow on things. And like I said, as I was going to say, I had the Chiefs winning. I had Travis Kelsey winning the MVP because Mahomes would make too many mistakes. Probably like 3 turnovers.
Ooh. That would be a lot of mistakes for Mahomes.
Yeah, and definitely get him out of the MVP running.
For sure.
And the other reason why I think the Chiefs will win is because Kyle Shanahan is still recovering from 28-3. That's still in his head, rent free.
Well, so is the Brock Purdy. It's still in his head too because he got injured.
That's irrelevant in a way.
Yeah.
Injuries are injuries. To me that's irrelevant.
I mean, that's the reason why they missed it last year and the Eagles won.
Yes. So now, don't think that this show is over, ladies and gentlemen, because now we're going to talk about the future, and we are definitely going to be talking about coaching futures. And so, Buffalo Bills kept their offensive coordinator Joe Brady. They also have upgraded their linebackers coach to defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah. And the Bears got a new defensive coordinator as well from the Bills. Their defensive line coach.
I saw Washington is keeping the same scouting people
Currently,
yeah.
I think it's because I think it's their scouting is right, their coaching is wrong. I definitely believe that as far as Washington.
I mean,
because
I
they
agree.
drafted well. Even though Chase Young is a pigeon,
Chase Young is complete. He's a complete bust. And talking about Chase Young, actually, we should have brought that up.
Yeah, we should have, but he is considered a scratch in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's considered a scratch, and at this point, I've already considered him a bust since after he got injured and never wanted to come back and do anything. And in my point of view, talking about Chase Young is, I don't feel like he's a team player because he doesn't train with the team in the offseason. He goes away in Los Angeles and trains with Von Miller, which Von Miller is already known to be kind of like a
he is, in my opinion, he is this season's waste of money. He was on the field. He had 5 tackles, no sacks.
And Chase Young probably did more with Washington than he did with fucking San Francisco. Like, he did nothing in San Francisco. I never heard his name.
Yeah, I saw him. Chase Young performed as well as Von Miller in San Francisco. Like Washington got a deal when they traded for him for that third round pick. That was a deal.
At first, I thought that was not. At first, I didn't think it was a good deal. Then he started playing like shit, and I was like, you know what? This is actually turning into a decent value.
Yeah. Well, I figured when they got rid of Sweat that the Washington Commanders were going to rebuild. All right.
Yeah, and I mean, they should definitely rebuild around how
because Montez Sweat was a lot better than Chase Young. So.
Yeah. Sweat was much better, but here's the thing: is they didn't want to spend the money. I think that what they want to do is they want to get a little bit more different characters in there because I think they got a little too comfortable.
That end, I think they're wanting to wash the taste of Dan Snyder out of the franchise, and that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of the Washington Commanders, they're still looking for a head coach.
Yeah. I haven't heard too many rumblings of
two coaching contenders that they had. Johnson had said he's going to stay with the Lions, and their number 2 pick, well, he went to the Seattle Seahawks. So that was interesting. Another interesting thing another interesting coaching hire was. Which makes me laugh is Ken Dorsey to the Browns as offensive coordinator. That's a mistake.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, well, Buffalo fired him, and look what happened.
Who just hired a coordinator or something?
The Steelers hired Arthur Smith to be the new offensive coordinator.
Yo. So this is what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. So I was listening to NFL radio, and they were like praising. They were like, they got him so they can be the running back guy. I'm like, what? He didn't even run. He didn't even utilize B. John Robinson. What are you talking about? They got him
Yeah.
for the running.
No, they got him so
What?
they got him so they could bring in John O. Smith. Here come jet sweeps. Here comes the jet sweeps to John O. Smith. Oh
It's
my,
just,
they're gonna make those Yinzers pray for Matt Canada to return. Like that is how stupid that hire was.
I can't believe people are looking at Ron Rivera to be a defensive coach. I'm like, what the, what? Why? You just saw what he did in Washington and just fucking like
Well,
completely.
I mean, I think everyone is still banking on that, on his 85 Bears potential, because he was on that team. But even so, I'm like, So, interestingly enough, after this is obviously free agency and then the draft. That's going to be very interesting for both our teams.
Yeah.
I definitely see a lot of interesting cuts from Buffalo. Rumor mill is going. They're gonna get rid of Von Miller and Tre'Davious White.
Von Miller doesn't really surprise me really at all.
Von Miller is on the tail end of 30.
Yeah.
Is in the tail end of his 30s. That wouldn't surprise me if they do it. Also, the recent allegations of him earlier this season, kind of gives a little bit of a red flag.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Washington traded away Jonathan Allen because the way he's been, like he hasn't seemed like a team player this whole entire season.
Right. I do see that. I think they're going to let him go. But for Buffalo, the Tre'Davious White thing, getting rid of him, I understand because it's his second ACL tear. ACL tear. And when it comes to skill position players, the ACL is not. It is not something you need to ruin.
No. It's going to be interesting what players stay where because there's some teams out there that have some key players that are becoming free agents.
Yep. But in your opinion, since we are talking about free agents, in your opinion, what do the Washington Commanders need to do to get themselves closer to a playoff spot?
Well, the defense is not far off from being good. I mean, they're decent. It's just they need discipline on defense. They need a better scheme or something. But I feel like what they need right now is an offensive line. They need to get better offensive linemen. They've had nothing but troubles on offensive line since they let Trent Williams go, Brandon Scherf go, and Morgan Moses go. Like that was like three big key linemen right there that you just like up left.
I'm going to add to that. I realistically think that the Washington Commanders need a better secondary.
Oh, that they need too. They do need a better. Yeah,
and I don't think they should rebuild it in the draft.
No, I think they should be able to do that in the free agency. I think what they need to do is they need to go after one of the top two offensive linemen for their top pick. I honestly, I think I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I think they should go after the guy from Notre Dame.
Dude! Oh no! Oh God! I'm gonna puke.
The other guy?
No, I'm saying you're a Notre Dame fan. That's why I'm puking.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck Notre Dame. Of all the colleges to pick, why those fuckwits?
I grew up watching Rudy, man. That's one of my favorite sports movies.
Understandable, but
I also liked Penn State when I was a kid too.
I used to like Penn State too, but let's not Sandusky this thing.
But they do need a secondary. I agree. They need to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I don't care if they waste their second round pick on offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They need a fucking offensive lineman. And honestly, they need to waste at least the first, like, they have 2 second round picks. They need either they trade back, but they should not trade back the first round pick because they need to get that offensive lineman. I don't give a fuck. They can trade away one of the second round picks and maybe turn it into another first rounder or something, maybe possibly, and come back in and get something else. But they need at least 2 of the first 3 draft picks in the first 2 rounds need to be offensive linemen.
Yep. And so after talking with you, I'm definitely going to talk about Buffalo because I'm a Bills fan. And hey, I got to talk about the Bills. I know that's going to be a fire sale for Buffalo. You know, they need to get rid of some cap.
Yeah, they're going to be really low. Or what are they going to be, like, negative 79 or some shit?
Yeah. And like I said, they're thinking about cutting Tre'Davious White and Von Miller. They're wanting to trim some fat off of Stephon Diggs. You know, definitely that's the 3 big contract options.
Here's the thing about Stephon Diggs. I don't feel like I feel like he's worn out his welcome there. I didn't see the chemistry with him and Allen this year at all.
Yeah, with Diggs, something was really off.
Yeah.
So I think Stephon Diggs needs to be traded.
I agree. Like, something is really off. I think he had his
and you're gonna hate this, but I think Washington would probably be the better fit.
I mean, honestly,
trade Diggs for I'm gonna say Dotson. Diggs for Dotson and a second round pick.
I would hate that one because Dotson, he can be a star.
That's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that.
I mean, Diggs can be a Jackson for us, a Deshaun Jackson type player, but we already have a slot.
Right. But that's just we don't know what they're gonna do in the offseason. We don't know, and that'll be, and as we talk about the offseason, that'll be it for this podcast. On behalf of the Social Sports Pad podcast, this was a great and interesting season. Even though it ended up with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl again, but let's not go over sour grapes. I am of course Cobra. Joining me is Ben, and you've been listening to the Social Sports Pad podcast. Good night, good week, and always good season. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.